obviously New Zealand is quite far away from the ASEAN community in terms of geography. There is quite a diverse Asian community in New Zealand. I have a lot of friends who are ethnically Malaysian and Thai who grew up in New Zealand. So New Zealand itself is quite a multicultural country. We were sort of, our national identity is sort of built on immigrants who have come to New Zealand and sort of set up and integrated. But I don't think it's as integrated as New Zealand would like it to be. It seems like ASEAN is keen to hear what other countries are thinking. And so my presentation today was sort of trying to test the waters a little bit and put out a hypothetical for cooperation between New Zealand, or more generally the Oceanic region, and the ASEAN community. So what I proposed was, because New Zealand and Australia have both put forward plans to invest more in their relationship with the Pacific Island region, one of the main issues was climate change, sea levels rising, and also sort of geostrategic, geopolitical issues that have sort of been growing in the area recently. But I sort of started to identify some similarities between the Pacific Island Forum countries and the ASEAN community. So the Pacific Island Forum countries, or the Pacific Island Forum, was established in 1971. And similar to the ASEAN community, it's sort of aimed at regional integration, identifying sort of common goals, identifying common strategies, and sort of working towards economic prosperity and longevity, I guess. In terms of ASEAN, they've had a longer history, slightly more complex, I would say, because there's been a lot more influence from external actors, and migration has been on a larger scale. Nonetheless, they have more experience in regional integration in terms of identifying common goals, and also, from my perspective, one of the most important things is addressing climate-related issues, specifically for the Pacific Island Forum countries, because it's actually an existential threat for them by 2050. There will be more than 180,000 people displaced due to sea levels rising and seaside erosion. And so, because New Zealand and Australia are focusing more in this area, but at the same time, according to our 2013 strategy, also very keen on increasing our engagement with ASEAN, I was thinking in terms of this engagement, New Zealand and Australia, as sort of the countries with more international influence, I suppose, or more engagement at least, could sort of broker a relationship between the two. ASEAN could provide assistance or guidance in terms of governing regionally integrated communities. There's a lot of research coming out of different ASEAN countries in terms of climate change standards for identifying what sort of strategies could be implemented depending on the conditions, as well as sort of national strategies, which I think could be implemented in some of the Pacific Island countries. Yeah, so I think there's room for cooperation. I think the main issue is probably figuring out the specifics of how to implement it. I think perhaps cultural exchanges could sort of start the engagement and then sort of work the way up to government level. Climate change as an issue tends to be on the last point of most agendas, but for the Pacific Island countries in particular, it's an existential threat, so it's actually quite high on the agenda.